What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 6 of the Inspired Efforts podcast. And I got a question for you. All right. My question is, do you get along with all different types of people? Like different personality types. So think about it like this. You get along with the person that's nice and bubbly and friendly all the time, right? And then you get along with the person that their head is always in the clouds and they're always talking about ideas and concepts, and then you get along with the person that is direct and to the point, and I'm telling you not to do this, so don't do it. And you get along with the person that's like, well, that doesn't make sense. No, your argument makes no sense, right? There's all different kinds of personalities, right? Everybody has different ways of viewing the world, ways of perceiving the world, and not everybody's built the same, right? We all see things differently. They say that 10 people can fly over the Grand Canyon and all 10 would see a different thing, right? All 10 would explain a different experience. And I didn't used to get that when I was younger. When I was in college and I was in psychology classes, I thought about it and I was like, yeah, well, what do you mean? They looked at different places or what? But no, it's not that simple, right? Literally, different people see different things in the world, right? We can both be looking at the same thing and see it differently because of our brains, because of the way our minds and our brains work, right? And so I want to give you some tips. So I don't want the Inspired Efforts podcast to only be stories, right? Along with the stories, I also want to give you some actionable steps, some actionable tips that you can take out into the world and use to better your career, better your life, better your relationship, whatever your focus is. You can use these skills to actually progress, right? To get better. And so today I want to talk to you about the good old technique of matching and mirroring and pacing and leading. Okay, some of you guys have heard these terms. Some of you guys know these terms well. I'm sure there might be someone in a couple years from now that listens to one of these original episodes and says, hey, I've known pacing and leading forever. You didn't explain it very well. That's okay. I've known about it for about 5 years. Maybe you've known about it for 20. But there are some people that are experts at it, and then there are some people that just try to use it, and then there are people that have no idea. So what is it, right? What the hell are you talking about, AJ? Sorry, I'll get to it. Okay, so matching and mirroring is very simple. There used to be a doctor named Milton Erickson who was a psychologist, and Milton Erickson had polio, so he was confined to a wheelchair. And he used to get the craziest cases of clients, right? Clients that had years of problems or had been to 50 different psychologists. When they couldn't be helped, they would go to Dr. Erickson, right? And one thing Dr. Erickson would do is when a client came in and this person was super down and just depressed and everything was so slow and shallow and they would talk slow and everything was like, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do anymore. Well, Dr. Milton Erickson would copy exactly those same tone, the tempo, right? The timbre, the volume, all of these things of how this person was speaking, but not just that. He would also copy their body language. He would copy the rate in which they were breathing, right? He would try to become them, if that makes sense. And it sounds from just that perspective, it sounds kind of weird, but here's how it works. That person would come in and be like, Mr. Erickson, I just don't think I can go on anymore, right? And then Dr. Erickson would say, you're probably right, but you might as well try this, right? What have you got to lose? And what happens is it builds a subconscious connection with that other person. So the idea behind it is you want to become that person. And you're like, AJ, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, listen to me. I'm not telling you to be fake. I'm not telling you to pretend to be someone you're not. However, if you want to be able to influence people that aren't like you, then you need to master this skill. Otherwise, you'll only ever be able to connect to a certain personality type. And if that personality type doesn't exist in the area to get you where you want to go, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're basically screwing yourself for the rest of your life. Okay. So when I tell you about this, it is literally that important, because I know many people in my life who can only connect or can only speak with certain types of people, right? So this is not a valuable skill. This is not a necessary skill. This is a must. This is an absolute must. Now, if you want to be, if you have the talent to be a professional athlete, or if you're in an area of life where you don't have to talk to people, God bless you, right? But for the rest of the world, we are social beings, right? We live in an economy, and an economy is circulating, right? Money's circulating. People, it all has to work together. So these skills are very important. And how it works is matching and mirroring is the first thing you want to do is match someone's body language. So are they sitting upright? Are they slouching over, right? Or do they have their arms crossed? Do they have their hand on their head, right? What kind of body language are they showing? Are they open body language, or are they closed body language? So if you match these things, now you don't want to be creepy about it. You don't want to do it to the point where they move, you move. They move, you move. Because then they catch on and they're like, are you copying me? But if you do it a few seconds later, what happens is on a subconscious level, you start connecting with that person. Now, if you can match the tone of voice that you're speaking in, the pace, right? How fast. Hey, if I'm from New York and I talk like this, then I might probably need to speed up my speech so I can talk to you so you can understand what the hell I'm saying, right? But if someone's from the South and they talk more like this, then I probably should slow down my rate of speech, because I want to make sure we can connect. You see what I'm saying? So matching the body language, right? And you just got to match the little things, right? So you're not literally going to scratch your head when they scratch their head. But if someone has their arms crossed, feel free to cross your arms for a second, right? Because what happens is, as you match and mirror people, now you can begin to lead them, right? So you can cross your arms because they were crossing theirs. And if they're in rapport with you, when you uncross your arms, they'll uncross theirs. So what happens is, first you're pacing them, right? First you're following their lead, and then they become in sync with you. And once they're in sync, you get to be the leader, right? You get to lead them as to what to do next. It's very powerful. It might sound crazy, but it's powerful. And then pacing and leading is it's a little more in-depth psychology, but I'll tell you how it works. Okay. Pacing and leading is, okay, jab, 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 right hook. We all hear Gary Vee talk about it. Jab, 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 right hook. Well, pacing is telling people something that is a undeniable fact. Undeniable fact, right? So if I was going to pace myself right now, I'd say, okay, AJ, you're sitting in that chair, you're recording your podcast, and you're looking at yourself in the computer. And now you're starting to think about all the ways that my product can benefit you, right? So subconsciously, what I did there is I told myself 3 things that are undeniable. I am sitting down in this chair, I am recording this podcast, and I am looking at myself in my computer screen, right? And then I tell myself something, or then that person would tell me something that I can be doing, right? Or that I should be doing. And my subconscious, because I'm agreeing with all the other things they said, my subconscious will kick in and start to work its magic to agree with the last part, right? Which was, oh, you're going to love this product, or whatever I said. So pace, 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 lead is basically telling people 3 undeniable facts about what they are doing currently, and then giving them an idea of something to move forward to, right? So say you were talking to someone at the gym, and you want to meet a new friend, right? Say there's a dude that's super strong. He benches 500 pounds, and you want him to teach you how to bench. Well, you might go up to him and say, hey, man, I see you're freaking benching 500 pounds. You come to the gym every day, and when you're here, you work out with a lot of intensity. Maybe you can mentor me or something like that, right? Or you say, hey, have you ever thought about mentoring someone? And now you get the wheels in his brain turning, right? And it's powerful psychology. I'm not saying that just because you do it, you're going to get everyone to do everything that you want them to do. There's a whole lot of extra psychology and extra things that go into that, which you don't ever want to be a manipulator, right? You don't want to take advantage of people. You don't want to treat people unfairly. However, if you know something is great for another person, if you know it's a truly valuable thing for them, you can use some techniques, because sometimes, not sometimes, logic doesn't work, man. Unless you're talking to a straight analytical person that all they care about is numbers, which is maybe 25% of the world. Other people, everyone else, you got to use some emotion in it, right? You got to use something beyond just the numbers. You got to make them feel a certain way, right? They got to trust you. They got to trust you. They got to know you, and they got to like you, right? That's the 3 keys of selling: know, like, and trust. So let's review really quick, because I know I talked about this stuff super fast, man, because I'm that high-paced go-getter, right? Go get it, baby. But so matching and mirroring body language, tempo, tone, right? Try it out. Next time you go to a restaurant, you can literally look at someone who's at a table to the side of you, right? And look and see how they're sitting, and just position your body in that same way, right? And so if they're leaning back, go ahead and lean back. If they're leaning forward, go ahead and lean forward. If they have their hands, clamped together with their forearms on the table, go ahead and do that. Match them exactly. And and every few minutes, look over and see what they're doing. Match them exactly for a few minutes, and you'll feel a weird connection. And don't be surprised if that person gets up and says, "Hey, do I know you from somewhere?" Or if that person comes over and tries to start a conversation with you, because they will literally feel connected with you. It's a subconscious thing. Like it's beyond me being able to explain. Just know that it works. It's funny because I've done it with like extreme, old school war veterans, who want a lot of respect, and who carry themselves in a certain way and want to be spoken to a certain way and treated a certain way, and they don't like this young generation, right? And I've also used it with nice older ladies that just need some help, and they just looking for a nice young man to help them out with whatever it is that they need. And being able to be adaptable, right? Being able to adjust in your environment is powerful, right? Adaptability is like survival, right? Survival of the fittest. Well, what better way to survive than to be able to adapt in an instant, right? To be able to adapt in your environment no matter where you are. And so with that being said, I'm going to tell you guys a story, right? I'm never going to go an episode without a story, right? So when I was 18 years old, I had this friend named Chris, and Chris was a crazy guy, right? But one night we went out and we were hanging out, and we went to a few parties, and we went and hung out at some people's houses that we knew. And then something happened. I can't remember what happened, but we ended up having to leave the party we were at. And Chris gets a call from this girl, and this girl's like, "Hey, I'm at this house. This is the address. Come over and hang out, and you guys can, come kick it or whatever." So we go over to the address, and we go to the house, and we knock on the door, and we're both, 18. I think Chris was still 17. And this guy opens the door who's about 28, 29 years old. And he's like, "Can I help you guys?" And I forgot who spoke first, but we're like, "Yeah, we're looking for whatever this girl's name is." And they're like, "Okay, come in." And we walk in, and the whole party is older people. There's nobody in there that's under 28, and everyone's like 28 to 30, 40, all these older people, right? And we walk in, and we're just like, wow, we're kids, and there's nothing but adults here. And the girl, right? And the girl was like there with her parents or something crazy. So all these people are looking at us weird, and all these people are just kind of like, "What the hell are you guys doing here?" Like, I think someone might have even said that to us. And this was before I knew anything about matching and mirroring. This is before I knew anything about pacing and leading. But I remember starting a conversation with the guy that owned the place, right? It was his house. And I started a conversation, and I started just bringing up – he was a fast, excited talker. So I started bringing up my pace and talking to him more fast and excited. And it was just like a natural thing that I've done my whole life. And we started talking about sports, and we started talking about football, and I told him I had a scholarship and I was getting ready to go play, and we started talking about all these things, and then some other people joined on the conversation. And I don't know how long it was, but after a while, the girl that actually invited us there left, and it's me and my buddy Chris infiltrating this party of nothing but 28, 38, 48-year-olds. And we're there. We end up partying there the whole night. I think we stayed there till 2, 3 in the morning, in an environment of people that we had no real outside connection with other than us just being adaptable. You know what I mean? And that's the first time I ever told that story, I think. So it's kind of funny, but truly, man, truly, if you can adapt, if you can learn to adapt in your environment, you will be much more successful than if you can't. And when I say success, I don't necessarily mean money. I just mean that you'll always have, a friend to go to. You'll always have a place to sleep, because people let you sleep on their couch if you need to. If you need stuff, if you need food, if you need a meal, you'll have those connections with people, because people will know you, like you, and trust you, because you have shared qualities that they like and they admire because they have them themselves, right? So it's really simple. I don't want to give you guys all my secrets. They're not really secrets, but they are. But people like people that are already like them, or are like they want to be, right? And so the more you can bring out the best version of yourself, the better you'll do in life. That's my simple conclusion to today's video. So with that being said, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Hope you got some value out of this. Literally try it. Don't just think about it. Don't just say, oh, that sounds cool in concept, right? Do it. Do it. If you don't believe me, try it. If you don't believe me, try it and tell me that I was wrong if I was wrong. But I promise you, you're gonna poop yourself, because you're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe that just worked. Like, this dude was such an asshole, and I was kind of an asshole back, and he ended up loving me. He ended up telling me I had some of the best service he's ever had in his life, and he will never talk to anybody when he comes in besides me. Because how do I know that? Because it happened to me all the time. I used to work at T-Mobile for 5 years and saw 30, 40, 50 customers a day. And this shit works. I had a large sample size to test it on. Okay? So hope you have an amazing day. Make sure you connect with me on social media at Coach_AJ Lew. If you haven't been to the website, CoachAJLew.com, I got all the videos I've done up there, from Facebook and YouTube and all the different things. So a lot of cool stuff, cool concepts, things you might enjoy, and things that you might, get some value out of, if you got some value out of this, right? So other than that, man, I wish you all an amazing day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.